she's so fine. Helluva, blows my mind. Helluva, lights my day.
What's good, guys? This story came out last night at 9:47 p.m. Chicago police officer found dead of apparent suicide, days after another officer's suicide. It's coming from CBS 2 of Chicago. A police officer's death by suicide has again rocked the Chicago Police Department, already grieving from another officer's suicide 4 days ago. The incident happened at 108th Street in Drake Friday night. Police rushed to the scene in Mount Greenwood, blocking off the streets. CPD Superintendent David Brown released the following statement. It is with a heavy heart that I share that we are conducting a death investigation into the tragic loss of an active Chicago Police Department member. The member was discovered inside a residence located in the 22nd Police District. The cause and manner of death will be determined by the medical examiner. However, at this time, the death appears to be by suicide. As we grieve the loss of a dedicated and decorated 15-year department member, I want to extend my deepest condolences to his friends and family. I know the CPD community is mourning, and that grief is deep and long-lasting. I know that it's hard to take care of yourself and to reach out. I also know that we need to do more to support each other, and we will. Chicago Superintendent David Brown tweeted this as well. It is with deep sadness that for the second time this week I must share the difficult news of the death of one of our own in what appears to be a suicide. Our deepest condolences go out to the officer's family and friends, who are now grieving over this unimaginable tragedy. He tweeted that last night at 9:12 p.m. It says the officer's name has not yet been released. He followed up that tweet by saying, "This job is not easy and is more difficult than ever. To the men and women of CPD, I know that it's hard to take care of yourself and reach out. And I hear that, and we know we need to do more. I ask that we remain vigilant and look out for one another. EAP, the chaplain's ministry, and peer support are available. Please contact them if you or someone close to you are in crisis." There's a reply to his tweet. It says, "And what's your point? Your officers also has the most amount of options to get help when needed. Help is a phone call away. Talk to a commander on duty. I believe it's a 24-hour crisis phone line also for police officers. So like I said, what's your point?" at Chief David Brown. Someone replied back to him and said, "What's your point? Everyone has 24-hour access to a national crisis phone line in multiple languages. 1-800-273-8255. Help for everyone is a phone call away. It's called 911. Don't act like help for depression and suicide. Help is only available for some. It's there for all if they just make that call." Someone says, "This is so difficult to hear and read. My condolences to the family, friends, and CPD family. There has to be more that can be done to help those who feel hopeless." This person says, "What's more sad is that it doesn't have to be this way." At Chicago Police, officers work tirelessly for the people of Chicago, but what do they get? Yes, you have a few bad ones, but that's anywhere these days. Low morale, no true leadership, no support, no appreciation. It's sickening. Someone says, "You nailed it. No leadership, no support." She goes on to say, "It is always the same response to these problems. It is happening too many times and too often. Peer support groups are not working. Why are the higher-ups not taking any action in helping and finding a real solution to this problem?" Someone says, "Fund the police. So sorry." Someone replied back to them and said, "They are literally the only thing actually funded in this city. They just got a $280 million bonus that was supposed to go to COVID relief. Lack of funding did not cause this suicide." I pulled up another article regarding this, and it said the first officer that died early Monday morning was Officer James Daly, a 21-year department veteran, and he died early Monday by suicide in Lakeview. Now, this article came out on Thursday, and this was in regards to the officer who we just learned was James Daly that died by suicide on Monday. It says Chicago police suicides. Sergeant pens letter demanding change after officer's death at Lakeview Station. So far this year, 29 police officers across the country have died by suicide. The problem has been especially rampant in Chicago, where another officer died this week. The sad news on Monday struck a chord with all police officers. The suicide of Officer James Daly at the Lakeview Police Station was among similar tragic ends for other Chicago officers. Unhappy with the response from top brass, Chicago Police Sergeant Rick Nigro sent a letter to Superintendent David Brown and Mayor Lori Lightfoot demanding change. Quote, "We are woefully unprepared to deal with the physical human stress that it takes upon us, and I can say personally, it is a physical feeling," end quote, Nigro said. Nigro knew Officer Daly and knows what he describes as the increasing stresses of the job with 27 years at the Chicago Police Department. Quote, "I'm in roll call," he said. "I can see it on the faces of officers. I can see the physical effect that it has and what it's doing to them, and it's difficult," end quote. Nigro took an unusual step of going public with his concerns. He wrote a letter to the mayor and police superintendent critical of their response after Daly's death and pleading for support. Quote, "I need to say, I don't think we are doing enough here. There is something clearly wrong," end quote, Nigro said. In a statement, Superintendent Brown acknowledged that enough has not been done to promote officer mental wellness across the country, and added that he vows to change that and is adding staff and resources. A spokesperson for Mayor Lightfoot offered a statement that said, quote, "We are committed to working with Superintendent Brown and his leadership team to ensure that Chicago's police officers feel supported and valued, and that their mental health and well-being is reflected in every aspect of our decision-making," end quote. Nigro hopes to inspire more officers to speak up about the stresses and possible solutions. This is Superintendent David Brown's response to the death of the officer on Monday, which was Officer James Daly. The brave letter regarding the Chicago Police Department's response to Officer James Daly's death acknowledges what has long been known among members of this department. Throughout the country, we have not done enough to promote mental well-being among police officers. I hear the same grief and pain within this letter reflected in many conversations and focus groups with officers of all ranks. That is why I have vowed to change how we support each other, making officer wellness a pillar of my administration. To that end, I have brought on Alexa James to support and implement a comprehensive officer wellness strategy. While her role is new, Ms. James is no stranger to CPD, as she has been instrumental in developing and advancing our officer wellness and crisis intervention efforts as the CEO of the National Alliance on Mental Illness, or abbreviated NAMI, here in Chicago. She brings to the department years of experience and deep institutional knowledge around mental health and will be engaging our officers to foster a community of wellness at CPD, both internally and externally. Together, we aim to bring meaningful change and build a workforce that feels both mentally strong and appreciated. I also want to create a culture where open-ended feedback, like what is contained within this letter, is welcomed and encouraged. I again offer my sincere condolences to the friends and family of Officer Daly and assure everyone that the subject of officer wellness is never far from my mind. Now, to be completely fair, I always look up the officer once they name them. And this is Officer James Daly's CPDP report. His career started on October 25th of 1999. He had 7 allegations against him, 1 use of force report, 2 civilian compliments, and 4 honorable mentions. His use of force came from December the 6th of 2008. He had some other slight conduct infractions, but past that, seems like he kept his nose clean after 2015. So I just wanted to bring that just to be fair, completely transparent. And I'm going to end the video on that note, but I will follow this story up. If I'm not mistaken, that's either the 2nd or the 3rd Chicago police officer who died by suicide right there in the police station. And I find that to be very, very alarming. I'm going to end the video on that note. Thanks for watching, guys.